In a narrative more dramatic than fiction, a hidden trial, an unprecedented royal sentencing, and a queen's collapse in court have rocked the British monarchy. The center of this explosive scandal is Laura Lopes, daughter of Queen Camilla, whose secret actions and shocking punishment were carefully buried, until now. What unfolded behind closed doors has pulled back the curtain on decades of royal secrecy, financial corruption, and historical manipulation, culminating in a legal, political, and emotional crisis that may mark the beginning of the monarchy's decline. This story uncovers Laura's forbidden discoveries, Queen Camilla's courtroom collapse, and the reverberations that now threaten not only reputations, but royal legitimacy itself. On a nondescript morning in London, Laura Lopes, daughter of Queen Camilla and stepdaughter to King Charles III, was ushered into a government building under the tightest secrecy. No press, no fanfare, just elite security and legal personnel with intelligence clearances. This was not a court as we know it. It was, as one insider described, crisis management disguised as justice. Laura stood accused of something unprecedented, gaining unauthorized access to deeply classified royal archives. These were not trivial family records. They included diplomatic arrangements, off-the-books financial transactions, and sensitive personal communications involving senior royals. Among the most damaging documents were those revealing contradictions to long-standing official narratives, especially concerning Princess Diana, international financial ties, and royal reactions to global events. The trial, held under the strictest confidentiality, lasted 6 hours. Witnesses described Laura as calm and dignified, making no excuses. Her only words before the judge were admissions of truth. When her sentence was announced, indefinite exile in a secure facility outside British soil with no access to communication, she simply turned to a senior official and said, "The truth finds its way. Always." She was immediately transported via military aircraft. The operation, executed with surgical precision, was only the beginning. Following the trial, the palace issued a one-sentence statement announcing that Laura Lopes would be living abroad for personal reasons. But behind the scenes, a royal cleanup campaign was in full swing. Security teams raided every location linked to Laura, her homes, offices, and even properties registered under aliases. Files, computers, and hard drives were seized. In her Wiltshire home, investigators dismantled her private study, pulling up floorboards, inspecting vents, and removing walls. They feared Laura had built a dead man's switch, a digital or physical failsafe that would release classified documents if she were harmed. Despite their thoroughness, some materials remained missing, raising alarm at the highest levels of royal intelligence. Anyone connected to Laura was quietly relocated. Friends got job offers abroad. Journalists close to her vanished into sabbaticals in distant countries. Her public presence was scrubbed. Photos on royal websites were edited, mentions deleted, and entire event records altered to remove her name. The message was clear: erase her existence from royal memory, quietly and completely. Laura's sentence devastated Queen Camilla. Informed only hours before her daughter's removal, she was given no power to intervene. It was presented as fait accompli, already in motion for national security. Her composure in public masked a private storm. King Charles was reportedly cold and resolute. He viewed Laura's actions not only as dangerous, but personally damaging, especially because some documents related to Princess Diana. According to insiders, this deepened the divide between Charles and Camilla, who now found herself grieving a daughter she could no longer contact, cut off by the very institution she had married into. Her son, Tom Parker Bowles, reportedly exploded in protest. A public figure in his own right, Tom was considered a reputational risk to the monarchy. Rather than confront him, palace handlers offered rewards, publishing deals, media opportunities, and career boosts to buy silence. Prince William, now the embodiment of royal protocol, sided with the palace. He believed the information Laura possessed posed an existential risk to the monarchy he was destined to inherit. Prince Harry, removed from the inner circle, made discreet inquiries, perhaps reminded of his own battles with royal control. For Camilla, this was a cruel reckoning. After years of rehabilitation, from the third woman to queen consort, she was now seen through a different lens. Mother to a woman branded a traitor to the crown. If the hidden sentencing of Laura Lopez marked the beginning, Queen Camilla's own descent was the earthquake. Following months of mounting speculation, a series of leaked documents implicated the queen consort in misappropriating royal funds. This time, the evidence was undeniable. Money earmarked for charities and public use had funded luxury travel, private retreats, designer wardrobes, and hush money payouts. Under massive public pressure, the case went to court. The trial captivated the world. Protesters demanded justice. The press descended in full force. The public, reeling from a cost of living crisis, watched as their queen stood accused of treating royal coffers like a personal vault. Inside the courtroom, Camilla, pale and tight-lipped, sat alone. King Charles, notably absent, added salt to the scandal. Evidence was damning: bank records, secret transfers, and employee testimonies. Staff recounted intimidation and orders to stay silent. One tearfully admitted being forced to sign NDAs under threat. Her defense argued that Camilla was misled, that she acted without malice, trusting palace financial handlers. But the court had seen too much. The verdict: guilty. Camilla was fined millions. Her sentence: 2 years of house arrest at a royal estate, stripped of multiple titles and all ceremonial roles. The queen consort was queen no more. Then came the collapse. As the sentence was read, Camilla fainted. Cameras captured the moment, a queen brought low not by accident or illness, but by her own downfall. Medical staff rushed in. Reporters froze. The scandal, now televised globally, burned into public memory. Camilla's conviction was a seismic event. Buckingham Palace entered emergency mode. King Charles issued a somber statement. "My wife has been unfairly treated. We stand together." But sources said otherwise. He was furious, betrayed, embarrassed. Prince William, silent and visibly shaken, cut a distant figure. Prince Harry, still estranged from the family, appeared to taunt the crisis. Meghan Markle posted a cryptic Instagram story. "Karma always knows where to find you." Public backlash was immediate. Protesters flooded the streets. Polls showed over 50% of Britons favored abolishing the monarchy. Parliament began debating the future of royal funding. Commonwealth nations questioned their allegiance to the crown. Australia, Canada, and New Zealand initiated discussions on constitutional reforms. The monarchy, long viewed as untouchable, was now teetering. Camilla's exile has redefined her legacy. Once the woman who rose from mistress to monarch, she is now a symbol of royal excess and collapse. Rumors swirl of divorce. Some say King Charles may send her to a secluded estate in exile, never to return. Meanwhile, talk of reform within the royal institution grows. There are whispers of Charles abdicating or transitioning to a ceremonial-only monarch. The public appetite for change is stronger than ever. But perhaps the most chilling question remains unanswered. What happened to the documents Laura Lopez uncovered? If they exist, if they were distributed to allies as suspected, then the monarchy may not have seen the worst yet. Any release could trigger deeper crises: revelations about historical crimes, war-era secrets, or secret political interventions could dismantle royal legitimacy altogether. As the dust settles, the ghosts of the past return. Princess Diana's tragic death, long wrapped in speculation, now feels eerily connected to the present turmoil. Hidden documents, secret paternity debates, and the royal institution's tendency to bury dissenters all point to a pattern. One journalist summarized it best: "The monarchy doesn't survive by evolving. it survives by erasing those who threaten it. Diana, Laura, Camilla, each has challenged the institution in different ways, and each has paid a price. The British monarchy stands today not as a symbol of unity, but as a relic struggling against modern accountability. The sentencing of Laura Lopes and the conviction of Queen Camilla mark a historical turning point. The monarchy's greatest asset, its mystique, is now its greatest vulnerability. In an age of transparency and democratic scrutiny, secrets don't stay buried, and as Laura warned, the truth finds its way. Always.